life happened this week, and I don't know if any of you have ever had a week, but I had a week. And it went something like this. I got a message from one of my coaches, sweet girl. And when I say sweet, I mean she has a heart of gold. She's one of the kindest people that I know. I have a mic. I don't think mic. All right, so when I was having this conversation, it went something like this. Hey, I saw your post. I noticed that you started a new business. And the message, you could tell she was kind of anxious about, because she knew that she hadn't told me that she was starting this new MLM business, and it was kind of weird and just awkward, right? But here's the deal. I actually am a retired English teacher, and so when I retired, I had a gift, a skill at analyzing text. I did it for a living. So when people give me information, I am the queen of reading between the lines. And that isn't always a good thing, but it went something like this. Time, she talked about time, she talked about income, and she talked about effort. And what she was really saying was, this business takes a lot of time. The income is not matching the effort that I'm putting into it. And I don't feel like I matter. And I know that, and I knew that message, and I understood that message because I've had it before. And what she had reached was what I call the dip. And I don't know, has anyone ever felt a dip in their business? Like, you are really riding high. And can you guys give me some kind of love? Like, yep, I got you, girl. I understand what you're saying. You're riding high, and you are ready to go to achieve that emerald, that diamond rank, whatever. And then all of a sudden, you hit that dip. And here's your choice. You can give up, or you can go up. And I want to talk about that term, give up, for a second. Because I don't think giving up and quitting are the same thing. I believe that giving up is a process. It is a process, a slow and painful process of convincing yourself that you are not good enough, that you don't matter, and that you and the goals that you set for yourself cannot be achieved. And it is a slow process. Whereas quitting is just an action. Throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm done. So when I see people in the process of giving up, it becomes something like this. I'm not going to hit my goals. They don't really matter anyway. Business is saturated. Too many coaches already. These excuses start to ripple into your mind, and you start to really say, I don't think I'm good enough to do this. So I believe that I am here in Seattle for one reason, and that is just to talk to one of you. So yes, there are a lot of you in the room, but I am here to say one thing, and that is that you matter, and that we have a job to do, and that we have something that can change somebody's life, and you have it at your disposal to give to someone else. That is our job as coaches, is to provide hope. And is it going to be hard? Yes. And are we going to have dips in our business? Yes. And is it a roller coaster ride of emotion? Yeah, it really is. There are going to be good days and bad days, and you have to say to yourself, I will not stay in the process of giving up because I got to go up. I have got to go up, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Thank you. All right, so we're good with that. We're going to remember that. We're going to remember that when we're having a bad day, right? So I messaged Allie, and yesterday I was sprinting in Minnesota. And let me tell you, the Minnesota airport is really, really big. And when I was in the Minnesota airport, it said, Gate G, straight ahead. So there I was. All right, Gate G. I see you, Gate G. I'm going for you, Gate G. And about a mile and a half later, I arrived at said Gate G because Gate G was pretty far. And she was like, why don't you get on the train? I was like, I saw nothing about the train. I saw Gate G is that way. And isn't that so our businesses too, right? So you have Gate G and you think it's right there. You have it right there. And then you keep walking, and then where is it? And you keep walking, and you're like, where is it? Where is it? And you can switch over to the next slide. Our businesses are just like that, Gate G. You know, we have to focus on the signs that say Gate G. We have to focus on the milestones. We can get caught up in this idea of a vision of what we want to do and where we want to go in the business, but what really matters is the mile markers. When I was 2 years into the business, 2.5 years into the business, I was actually diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's a blood cancer, and when I was diagnosed, I had a choice. And my choice was I can give up or I can go up. And so I get the question a lot, how? Like, how did you do it? And it goes back to what Tara was saying a little earlier about the Girl Boss book that she was referring to. You see, I had a vision of what it would look like to be a survivor, to stand in front of people and to be wearing a survivor shirt, and to be talking to other survivors. And I knew in my heart what that looked like, but it wasn't that vision that was driving me forward. What it was each small step I had to take along the way to be able to achieve that goal. So what that meant for me was 12 rounds of chemo. 12 rounds of chemo every other week, and it lasted about 8 months. And those 12 rounds were going to be hard. They were going to be difficult. I was going to lose my hair. I was going to be bald. And I remember thinking to myself, who in the world would want me as their coach? Who would ever want me as a coach when I look anything like the image of health? And so my friend Stacy said to me, Katy, everybody is going to want you as a coach. And I realized then that I had something in my hands that was no longer about me. It was about helping other people and providing hope. Because I don't know how many of you have ever been hopeless in your life, but it's a scary place to be. That's one of those things where it's like rock bottom. And if I knew that if I was on Facebook and I was looking for hope, I was looking for it somewhere, I needed to become it. And I feel like that's what we do as coaches, is we have to start becoming the hope to somebody else. And how do we do that? My vision was for being a survivor. It was down the road, and I knew it was a long way to get there. And it was like this. How do I describe it? It was kind of like if you have a camera and you are taking a picture of something, and in the background it's sort of blurred, but up close is your clear view. That's how I started looking at goals, and that's how I started looking at chemo. I could focus on the small steps in front of me that were going to drive me towards the vision that I had in the background. And each step was going to take me one step closer to where I wanted to go. But what I had to do was I had to do those actions. I had to take the action every day to step closer. But what makes this different than my business? Guys, I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have another way out. I didn't have another opportunity that I could join. I didn't have something in my back pocket that said, if this doesn't work out, then I'll try this instead. I had one choice, and that was to go through the chemo and to go through the hard stuff and to understand that the setbacks and the hard times were going to happen, but my vision was there. And the steps I needed to take were right in front of me, and they were in my control, and I was going to take them. So I'm going to put that into perspective. Do you work your business like there is no plan B? Do you work your business like there's no plan B? Like, whoa, that person over there is driving a Lexus. I want a Lexus. Oh, that person over there just sold like $3,000 of leggings. I want to sell $3,000 of leggings. Are you looking at the impact of lives that you can make with a product that is nothing like what anybody else has? Do you understand what you have in front of you? And you can change the slide out. And I feel very, very compelled to talk so passionately about this, because this isn't about the income. If you are looking for a quick way to make an income, you are probably not in the right place.
Amen to that.
This is a roller coaster ride. You are going to have ups and downs in this business. You are going to have those moments where you wonder if you can do it. And I'm here to tell you, because the one thing I want you to remember from me standing on the stage is that you matter. You matter to one person. You worry about mattering to one, and that first person needs to be you. You have everything you understand that she put these accolades up, and I always feel weird when people do it because, yes, I have been a 3-time elite. Yes, you see 10-star diamond. But what you don't know is what happened in 2016. And oh man, did I feel a dip in 2016. And in 2016, I had a choice. When other people were giving up, I could have given up. When other people were saying, man, it's easier to sell something else. Man, I can make a quicker buck somewhere else. And they left. I had a choice. And my choice was to give up or to go up. I looked at it though like it wasn't a choice. I'm not playing the game of what's plan B if this doesn't work out.
Word.
I am a coach because this coaching business has blessed me more than I can even describe, and I'm not talking about money.
Amen.
I am not talking about money. Yeah, it's great, but that's not what I'm talking about with the blessings. This business is going to bless you if you work the business. It's not about, is this going to work for me? It's, are you working for it? All right, so let's talk about the dip, because I put my hand up on my hip, and man, did I dip. I did a dip. And so there were a lot of emotions with that. Not good enough. Man, maybe I'm not qualified for this. Man, everyone else seems to be going up. Everyone else seems to be successful at this. What can I do about this dip? And I went back to what we're taught as coaches is those vital behaviors. But here's the thing about the vitals. They do work. But sometimes we have to tweak them a little bit. And you might be at that point where you feel like you're doing those vitals and you might need to tweak them a little bit. So I'm going to share a little bit about what I did in 2016 to get me to where I'm going now. So you guys can see this is sort of where I am in 2017. So first of all, if you want to go ahead and click it, I'm going to talk about 4 things. Number 1, I don't leave square one. So if you would look and think about your 4 vital behaviors, each one is a segment in a square. You have inviting, you have being a product of a product, you have personal development, and you have recognition. So I broke that down and I said, Katie, are you actually inviting every day? No? Okay, here's a timer. You set that timer, nothing bothers you within that timer, and you actually do the vital of inviting. Talking to people, having conversations with people, getting out and having like an actual talk with someone about what I'm doing. That's number 1. Number 2, being a product of the product. This is a really easy one. If you've ever felt the stresses of a business, you can also feel the stresses of weight coming back on or weight fluctuating. Or maybe those containers have been sitting in your pantry for too long and you haven't taken them back out in a while. And you get off track. This is life. I get it. It's a journey. It's ups and downs. We get off track with our business. But go all in with your own fitness journey and document it. Share it. Whatever it is, hammer and chisel, 21-day fix. You know, the new one that's coming out that I'm not supposed to talk about because it's not on your social media or anything. So whatever it is, go back to that. Be a product of the product and share it. Nobody's too good to be a product of the product. We are a product of the product, and that's why we rock it what we do. When we can share it confidently, when we're actually going to be a product of the product. Recognition. Recognizing on social media your coaches, your challengers. But geez, guys, recognize yourselves. You are doing something amazing. You are putting yourself out there. Give yourself a little pat on the back once in a while. And tell people it's okay to not have it together. But today I dried my hair, and as a mom, I call that a win. And I'm going to recognize myself right now. Recognize whatever it is, because people want to be around people who are doing good things. It doesn't all have to be about Beachbody, but recognize the good things that are happening in your life. Recognize the things that motivate other people. Recognize because it brings joy, not just to other people, but to you. Because when you start to be a joyful person, I did teach English at one point. When you start to be a joyful person, joy is attracted to you. And you want joyful people in your life, right?
Yes.
And then which one am I missing? Personal development. Okay, so personal development with this one. So they say 10 minutes a day. That's a lie. You've got to work on your mind more than anything. For me, that's like an hour. a day, Elise, because my brain is so scattered that you've got to like really sink it in there, push it in there for me to be like, yeah, I've got this. I'm going to own today. And then I go back into the old habits and I'm like, okay, go back to the PD. So every day. And that goes into number 2, mindset gut check. If your thinking is stinking, your business is shrinking. Hey! Oh yeah, that's the truth. If you really are having some bad negative thoughts about the business, or you're seeing everyone else succeed around you and you're like, man, I'm not good at this, you just say to yourself, my thinking is stinking, my business is shrinking. And you say that, and then all of a sudden you start thinking about positive things. You've got to give yourself those gut checks. Whoa, where is my head right now? Where is my mind right now? Am I putting negative thoughts into my own head because I can't think like that? Because that mindset gut check is the biggest impact you're going to have on your business. This is where everything kind of flows from, is your thought process. Number 3, tweak it. Tweak it real good. No love on that. Thanks. I feel really stupid right now. I need to go back to a mindset gut check. All right, so tweak it. Look, there were things that weren't working. When I had that dip in 2016, I said, what's not working? Okay, Katie, I hate sending cold invites. I just do. It doesn't work for me. I don't know why. My armpits get all sweaty, and I'm like, hey, girl, I don't know me. I'm a really good person. And I'm still 5 years into the business. The cold invites are still really hard for me. So I knew that wasn't working for me, so I had to tweak it. So what did I do? I started running free groups. I run them every month. I run them for 5 days. I provide them 5 days of workouts, and I provide them a meal plan, and that's it. And I get every single one of my challengers from my free groups. I add value up front. I share with them how to see results. I give them my trust. I share with them who I am. I share with them a little bit of my story. And while all of that's going on, my timeline is talking about Beachbody. It's talking about Shakeology. It's talking about how I really am a hot mess as a mom. Like, I am a disaster as a mom. Like, come into my house and you would be like, I don't even know how you are standing on a stage right now. It's a mess. And so people see who I am, but they only came in to know me for my free group. And that's where I get everybody now. It's not about running, fancy ads. Congrats if you get these great ads that take off. You don't have to invest a ton of money in that. You don't have to. But what you need to do is build relationships and add value and make people feel like they matter. And it starts by believing that you matter. It starts by believing that you do matter. Not somebody else telling you you matter. Not somebody else dangling a carrot that says, chase this goal, do this. No. It's about you adding value to the lives of others that makes you say, I matter. I made a difference to one, and that is my job. That is how my income is going to grow. And then the last one is level up. And I went back and forth about sharing this, but my best friend is actually the top coach 3 years in a row in the business. And a coach asked me, Katie, is it hard to be best friends with Melanie? And my immediate answer was, no, not at all. But my thought-out answer was, yeah, it would be really hard to be best friends with her if I didn't think I mattered. If I didn't think the gifts and the talents that I had were enough. If I spent time comparing myself to what she'd already accomplished. And I think as coaches, we all need to do that one thing where we have to say, it's time for me to level up and worry more about what I have to offer than what I can't offer. And so yes, if I wasn't confident that my gifts and my talents were different than hers, and that I am going to be here for some reason standing in front of you because one of you is not going to quit because I told you that you matter, then I know I'm doing my purpose, that I know I'm rocking my purpose. But I can't be so focused on what she's doing and what she's accomplishing that I miss out on what my gift and my calling is. Does that make sense? Can I get an amen? Hallelujah. Seriously. And here's a trick for Google Chrome, click kill the newsfeed, you're going to stop comparing yourself to everybody. Because you're not going to see it anymore. Newsfeed gone. It's amazing. All right? So you can switch it. And I just want to go back to what Tara said for a minute too, because like she was saying, when I started coaching, I actually signed up because I finished Insanity on my own and thought that's what was the next step. I was like, so I finished Insanity, do I get like a piece of paper that says I'm a coach? I mean, I was like the best recruit ever for Melanie. I really was. I mean, I was just like handed to her. But here's the deal. I was curious. I chased curiosity. I wasn't passionate about coaching. I wasn't passionate about having a six-pack. I wasn't passionate about changing the world. I wasn't passionate about anything. I was curious. I was curious about this culture of Beachbody. I was curious about what a coach did. I was curious how people were taking off all these pounds and keeping it off. And what I started to do was, as I took these steps in the business, and I'm so glad Tara said this, it goes right in mine. It goes right in step. You just level up your why. I would have been scared to death in 2012 to know that only 2 years later I would be diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, wondering if I was going to survive to watch my baby boy grow up. Now, I look at my business and I say, this girl just wanted to lose 25 pounds. I was curious if Beachbody could help me do that. And then I was curious how I could provide a better life for my children, how I could pay for their college education, how I could be a mom that inspires them to speak boldly about the things that they believe in. And then it became, I am curious how Beachbody can help me become full-time with philanthropy. Do you know that the community of Beachbody helped me raise over $70,000 for cancer research? Wow. Do you realize that? You can't put any post together that can make people understand the value of this Beachbody business when it's blessed you like that. And then now, it's my job to pay it forward. My job to remind people that when you get up in the morning and you sweat, make it more than just a few calories burned. Make it more than that taco you ate the night before. Your feet hit the floor, you are blessed enough to work out.
Amen to that.
And once upon a time, when I was too sick to sweat, you guys so kindly sweat for me. And so now, it's my job to remind people that there is something bigger to sweat for. Sweat because you can. You sweat for those who can't. Every sweat matters. You guys, I am leaving here today with 2 words. You matter. Work for it, okay?